Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike, and have we got a show for you today? We certainly do. It is 1 o'clock Central European time. It is the 6th of October. The nights are drawing in. It's almost Halloween, and after Halloween, we know what comes next, don't we? Christmas. So today we're going to have a look at the markets. We've got a couple of things to look at. I didn't want to do too much TA or charts today because it's a Friday. Tomorrow I'll be with Brogan, and we're going to have a look at maybe 3 projects tomorrow and do a hybrid show where we look at the news and we look at the charts, see where those projects could go. So today, what I thought I would do after the markets is I would have a look at market dominance, Bitcoin market dominance, and try and explain to you that there is more than one way to skin a cat. There are different types of Bitcoin dominance, and I'm going to take you through the 2 types that I prefer to look at. After that, we're going to have a look at some news about Fetch AI. Full disclosure, I hold this token. None of this episode is sponsored. We don't have any sponsors. There isn't anybody paying us to change our opinions on things. So everything you hear will be my opinion and my opinion only. After that, we're going to have a look at Bitcoin and whether it's now going to become a safe haven from inflation, which is its intended purpose after all. Then we're going to look at Raoul Pal, some news from him, some news about Ledger laying off staff, and then we're going to finish quite nicely with a story about the Doge Foundation putting up a statue to commemorate Doge, and just appear to have some kind of feed problem. Just let me check. Everything seems to be running fine. And then at the end, in about 45 minutes time, we're going to have the quiz. So that's all we've got for today. Now, something that's really important, and I mention it on most streams, is that wherever you're watching, please drop a comment into the chat. Let me know where you're watching from, what you're doing, what your plans are for the weekend, any coins you want us to look at, anything like that. Just say hello. This is supposed to be a two-way stream after all. This is not supposed to be me here talking to a microphone on my own for an hour. So make sure you drop a comment into chat. I'm not going to do any good mornings just yet. We're going to get on with the markets. Because Bitcoin tried to have a little run up, was at 27,750. It's fallen a little bit right now. So as you can see, market cap is still under 1.1 trillion. The volume is up only a touch. Bitcoin dominance, which we're going to talk about in a minute, is 49.6%. ETH dominance is falling away. If we have a quick look, what's happened in the last 24 hours? Trust Wallet is up slightly, nothing really else. Aave, Toncoin, Casper, nothing's really up. And at the other end, apart from Thor, nothing's really down, 5%, 3%. So no movements on this Friday. I do believe that the jobs report is going to be coming out today, and that could cause some type of market volatility. Remember, the Fed are interested in bringing down 3 things. They're bringing down the price of goods, they're bringing down the price of housing, and they also want to bring down the number of people in jobs. They want to see unemployment go up. Unemployment going up reduces the pressure on wage inflation. So they want to see people out of work. It sounds terrible, and it is terrible, but that's how they measure their economy. In addition to that, the yield curve is about to flip. The yield curve is what rate of return you get on government bonds in America. The shorter term bonds are currently paying more than the longer term bonds. That's going to flip and go back to normal, but by doing that, that could signal the recession. We could head into the US elections in America next year in a recession in America. So that wouldn't be good news for Biden, certainly wouldn't be good news for the Democrat Party. So that's how the markets look. Not really a great deal to write home about. So first thing I'm going to do is go through this Bitcoin dominance number. This number that we read out every day, and why this matters. So Bitcoin dominance in a nutshell is what percentage of the total market is Bitcoin. So as you can see, we're nearly at 50%. So 540 billion of the 1.08 trillion market cap is held in Bitcoin. And this is a very significant number for one reason and one reason alone, is that it can be seen as a precursor to the bull run. So now you know what it is. It's half of the market at the minute. Roughly half the total value of the market is in Bitcoin. So you can see how this has looked over a daily, weekly period on TradingView. And you can see that for a period of time, going back as far as April and May 2 years ago, that Bitcoin has been stuck in this lower band, this lower fib level. We reached the bottom in November last year, where obviously many things happened, which we don't need to go over now. But since November last year, and for nearly an entire year, Bitcoin dominance has been going up. According to this chart, we're already nearly at 51%. And we can see, if we go back a period of 4 years, we can see where Bitcoin dominance was. It was up towards 68, 69, 70%. Now, the one thing to bear in mind with Bitcoin dominance is this chart that you see in front of you that a lot of people use. It includes stablecoins, USDC, USDT, which are already here. You can see them. They take up a chunk of the market cap. Now, me and many others are not huge fans of using that as a or having that in the market dominance, because technically it's just digital dollars. It's not really a cryptocurrency or a crypto asset. So what happens if you remove that from the equation? You end up with, in all fairness, if we compare charts, we end up with a very similar pattern, which is we were at the low here and we've been moving up. But you will see the difference now is that Bitcoin is at 57%, not 50.7%. So that kind of gives you an indication that this is, for me, a fairer view of how to look at markets. And Bitcoin dominance is important because it shows you, it's like a minor bird. As Bitcoin dominance rises, that's where the safe money is going. That's where the money is coming into crypto. Crypto doesn't necessarily flow into Cardano. It doesn't flow into XRP necessarily. A lot of it comes into Bitcoin first, because that is the gold standard asset. So when we talk about Bitcoin dominance rising, that's a bullish scenario for me, because what will happen is Bitcoin dominance will continue to rise in this pattern, and then we will get the blow off top where Bitcoin dominance will come up here around this level here, and that is when potentially around about here Bitcoin will reach its new, not its new all-time high, but its new point of 100,000, 120,000. Now then it will start to fall, and that is when the altcoin season starts. So money will then flow out of Bitcoin and flow into Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, Solana, whatever else it might be. And that will cause the alt season, which always follows the blow off top or the all-time high of Bitcoin. So it's important that Bitcoin continues along this path and accumulates money over this period of time. So for those of you that watch and wonder why we look at Bitcoin and why we look at Bitcoin dominance, this is the reason why. Because it's a little bit like the Dixie. It's an indicator of how the market is doing. And as you can see now, we've had 10 months of a slow increase of lower highs, on Bitcoin, and at some point next year we are likely to possibly see some kind of action like this, where it shoots up and Bitcoin has a pump, maybe around the halving, which is in April. Maybe we'll see the 60%, 65%, 70% that people have been talking about. So hopefully that's given you an introduction into what Bitcoin dominance is and why it's important. If you have any questions, don't forget all of our contact details are under the video. Drop us an email, join us on one of our social media channels, ask me any questions. I'm more than happy to send you these charts and let you know what I'm looking at. But I thought that would be a good introduction to the show, and now we're kind of going to go to the opposite end, which is... Actually, no, we'll not. Let's have a quick look at the Bitcoin price first. Before we do that, I've put that on here to have a look at. So let's go and have a look at the Bitcoin price. So as I have said on, well, at least for the last 2 or 3 days, I've said that Bitcoin certainly don't need weekly. Let's go to the daily chart. Bitcoin is in this kind of ascending channel, and we are sitting in the bull market support band. So we tried to break out, we didn't. We fell back down, but we only fell back down to the bottom of the bull market support band. Then we dipped below, we recovered. We dipped below, we pumped, we're down again now here. So we are stuck. We're stuck in 2 ranges. We're stuck in this range here, where we're putting in lower highs, and we're stuck in the bull market support band. So as I've said on a couple of different channels, I am undecided on where we're going to go, because we could try again, which would take us to 28,000, get rejected, bounced off 27.2, then are we going to break through to 29 and come back down again? I don't know. I don't know what direction I see Bitcoin moving in at this moment in time. I am undecided, because what I was expecting to happen was a breakthrough, test this as support, and then a move up. Or we come up, we fall down, and we come back down. So it was either up or down, not sideways. And I think the market is just undecided. So we are sitting in this range between 27, what's that, about 27.4 and 28. 27.4 and 27.8. And when I've been putting my comments on, you'll see that I've been mentioning 27.4 as a key figure, because that is the bottom of the bull market support band. So I have no idea where we're going to go. The jobless, or the job numbers that come out today, could be great news. It could be terrible news. We don't know. And I don't know what effect that's going to have on the market. So I have just very simply said, I am not trading Bitcoin at this moment in time, because I can't see where the market's going to go. Over time, we are obviously going to break up. But if you look at the 2 previous instances where we've come near the bull market support band, we've touched it and it's rejected, we've come straight back down. This time, we've tried to break out and we're sitting in the range. We're just chopping. So no idea where we're going to go, but that's a very brief update. And if you know more than I do, more than happy for you to comment in chat and let me know what you think. But that's where I am with Bitcoin at the moment. Now we're going to go and have a look at Fetch AI. Actually need to update the menu while I am at it. And drop a box. Just give me 1 second. The menu hasn't been updated properly. There we go. So we're up to Fetch. So for those of you that don't know, Fetch is an AI project. Good morning, Rick. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for saying hello. I can see one of the channels is just full of spam today, which is always nice to see. Don't forget, say where you are. That Mew, just watching and getting the drop. Well, hopefully you've learnt something on here. especially about Bitcoin dominance. I think it's important to understand what Bitcoin dominance is. Good morning, Tariq. Good morning, Munaya. I did say I wasn't going to read out some hellos, but you know what? Why not? So let's move on to Fetch. So there are two AI tokens that I like a lot. There's Fetch and there's Singularity. Singularity is more of a retail AI product. It's more into music, NFTs, more mainstream. Fetch is more, I don't want to really use the word corporate. It's not really a corporate AI project, but it's in a lot of things which are what I would consider to be important. So I'll very quickly show you. Oh look, they've updated the website. Very nice. This is a different website to the one that I've brought up in the past. Now hopefully this will maybe it won't load. Okay, well the website isn't loading and I don't know why, but basically Fetch has created bots which are decentralized, so they're dotted around the world. You can run a node and operate them, and it allows you to carry out big data research, whether it be in the pharmaceutical industry, education, companies wanting to do market research. It's very corporate, and for some reason I don't seem to be able to load it. Let me just go and do a very quick speed test. Let's see if it is my connection here or whether it is their website. Well, I don't seem to be doing very well with this. Anyway, let's move on and go back to what we were looking at. So Fetch's price fell by more than 3% after DWF Labs sold a part of its FET holdings. Most metrics suggest that sell pressure on FET was high. Fetch has a comfortable week with its price rallied by a promising margin, allowing investors to enjoy profits. However, DWF Labs later deposited a substantial number of FET tokens onto an exchange, after which FET's price action changed direction. So it is facing high sell pressure. Let's bring up the chart and I will give you my lowdown on where I think this is going to go, because that's the reason for me highlighting it. So it's AI, which means it's in a brand new industry. The price action is going to be very, very volatile. Bear that in mind. But the price is at what I would consider to be a very decent level. Let's go to the daily chart, move this around, and you will see that what has happened is we've had this huge area of accumulation, which was from June last year to December last year. So you had a 7-month accumulation period. You then had the absolutely massive blow off top when AI tokens were seen as the big things, were seen as what everybody needs to be invested in. And since then we've seen various different declines. We've put in lower highs. We've kind of followed this all the way down to the price we are at today. But it seems to have found a good level of support. And not only that, there appears to be a nice war going on between its moving averages and the bears and the bulls. What can I see happening? Well, we've had very good support here and here, which is at 18 cents. So what could potentially happen is we get rejected, we come down, we bounce off here, and then potentially we break through here, and then we're back towards I would say 39 to 40 cents would be my target for fetch, which is roughly a 75% increase from where we are today. Now that's a bit of a pump, I'll admit that. And don't forget, I am Mr. Conservative. I do not like to come on here and talk about tokens going from 22 cents to $5. But this price action here was only April. It was only 6 months ago. So we could see a bounce, a kind of bit of resistance, and then we could kind of bounce around in this area up here. So this is all a possibility. I don't see anything on the horizon which is going to drive the price of FET below this level, which is found support at. It had it in June, it's had it in August. We've seen this with other altcoins as well, where they've found a really good level of support. So I think to the downside, we've got a 20% drop in price. I think all of this area here, this is a good area to accumulate FET. If you're interested in AI tokens, there's Fetch and Ajax. Those two tokens for me are the ones that I am personally invested in. However, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to go and buy FET. Do your own research on both of the projects. You might prefer Ajax. Ajax is a cooler project. It has DJ bots, it has NFT generating bots, it has all of this really cool stuff going on. Fetch is more serious. If you were to ask me, would Fetch and Singularity, will they be around in 5 years' time? I can't say yes or no, because there could be a third party building an AI token in the background that we don't know about that will come and knock the spots off both of these projects. Like I said, this is brand new. AI, blockchain, decentralized nodes, it's all new to, it's a new industry. There's going to be something come along. There might be something that comes along and becomes a competitor to both. And that's the risk when you're invested in such a new area. However, I do think that in a bull run, Fetch and Singularity, the bull run's only 2 years away. So if there is a new project to come out, it's only got 2 years to attack those markets and take a market share. Every week that goes by, Fetch and Singularity get stronger as a project. The teams get stronger, more people start to use it, it gets more adopted. It makes it harder and harder for people to come in and take a market share. Plus, if they do come and take a market share, do you think that Google or Apple or any of these companies are going to build a product in the same way that Fetch and Singularity are going to build them, or are they going to keep them to themselves, keep them off the blockchain? That's probably the angle they're going to go down. So there's potentially, the risk of a competitor isn't massive, but it's still there. So my advice is, go and do some research on Fetch and Singularity. If you have space in your bag to buy AI tokens, Fetch and Ajax are the two that I would look at. There are others. There's Render. Render's a good project, lots of people like that. There's ChainGPT, which is a lot smaller. Have a look at that, but that really is a micro cap. But for me, FET is at a price where I think it's a good accumulation phase. And remember, what we try and do on this channel is we don't chase FOMO. We don't chase the projects which are currently doing 50% a month returns. We try and find you things which have come down. So if I was trying to show you Fetch here, I would be telling you that the chances are that the price is going to start to correct because it's had a huge run up. It's already potentially found its bottom here, and potentially we could have another run up. There could be a huge market correction to come, and Bitcoin could bring everything down. And then if that's the case, you're looking at 8 and 10 cents. But every week that goes by, it's less and less likely that we're going to see a $20,000 Bitcoin or $23,000 Bitcoin, which I was saying for all of September. So have a look. It is putting in higher lows since June. So it is starting to, increase in value. And like I say, the longer this goes on, the better the project is going to be, the stronger it's going to get. So go and check that out. I'm just wary about time. So I'm going to move on to the news now. As I say, we'll do more projects tomorrow. We are streaming a little bit earlier tomorrow. We normally stream at 11, but we are going to be streaming at 10:30 Central European time tomorrow. So I'm going to be half an hour earlier. So for those of you that are early birds, we are the people for you. Give me 1 second. I am going to drop a box. And then I'm going to go and grab another coffee because I've left my coffee on the other side of the room. So give me 1 second. I have returned with my coffee. And there we go, we are back in the room. I've also dropped the box for those of you somewhere else. So let's get cracking with the news. I will enjoy my coffee. Fran, thank you for asking. It's not the same coffee that I normally have. That's the problem. I normally have a Starbucks dark intense roast, I think it's called, because Starbucks coffee actually comes from Italy, or it's produced in Italy, whatever, so it's actually really decent coffee. And I've gone for some kind of supermarket blend and it just hasn't got the same kick, so it's not great. Let me just make sure sound and everything is working. Perfect. Right, let's get on with the news. Bitcoin enters the quiet bull market as safe haven from bond market turmoil, analyst says. Investment research firm ByteTree upgraded Bitcoin's price outlook to bull from neutral as the crypto benefits from as a safe haven amid an equity and bond sell-off. Not 100% sold on that. So Bitcoin briefly surged above 28,000 during Thursday morning hours, then dropped to 27.3. Now, I believe it or not, I predicted this yesterday. I said that I think Bitcoin would try and retest 28,000 and get rejected. For those of you that don't believe me, if you're on a certain platform, go and look at my posts. I said it yesterday morning, we're going to have another run at 28 and we're not going to break it. And what happens is we come back down and then we slowly accumulate. We try and get back above it. Eventually, we're going to break through. It's like being trapped under ice. We're trying to break through. It's going to happen at some point. It's just, if I had a crystal ball, I would tell you when. And we'd all be rich by longing Bitcoin, but I don't know. So I'm guessing it's going to happen in the next 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the job news, depending on the next Fed meeting. In the near term, I expect the market to sell into this rally. The chief investment officer of Lend told CoinDesk in an email, in the absence of new capital flowing into digital assets, I believe that this is what the rally will be short-lived. I do believe Bitcoin prices will be higher in 3 months than they are today, as technically we've completed the sell-off and I now look for a sustained rally into summer 2024. I don't know about that. My issue is that we will accumulate in value until the halving. Then I think we're going to see a mini sell-off, which will bring the price down. And then I think it will take another 6 months of accumulation, maybe towards the end of next year, where we will start to ramp up. And then 2025, from January, February, March, we're then going to start to see a really consistent rise in the price of Bitcoin. So I don't think it's going to start and finish. I don't think we're going to have a sustained rally for the next 6 months. We are going to get a sell-off at some point. Investments firm Bytree upgraded it. We've already read this bit. Bitcoin futures look good, especially when you compare them to the crisis in the bond market. We spoke about this at the start of the show. The bond market is switching from inversion to traditional, and that's happening as we speak. So that's going to cause a little bit of turmoil and volatility in the market. We're hopefully going to try and avoid that, because Bitcoin, every day that goes by is a day closer to the halving, and that is what we want. Morris noted that during Bitcoin's latest corrective move, it held above 25,000. Now, I did draw this on the chart. I did say that there is a very, very, very long-term line of resistance on Bitcoin that is at 25,000, and we held it, which I didn't expect. I expected us to come and test 23,000. There's huge levels of liquidity at 20 and 23,000 that I thought we were going to tap, and we just haven't done it. If we can hold 25,000, which we probably will, Bitcoin is very much in a bull market. I'll bet a quiet one. Even if Bitcoin is shaking off rising yields, it has remained trapped in its $26,000 to $30,000 range, according to Edmund Moore. What is also preventing crypto investors from becoming more optimistic is that the bond market sell-off refuses to end, and that will cripple many crypto startups. Yeah, I mean, 25,000 is the line on the sand. I'm not going to go back to the charts, we haven't got time, but 25,000 is a line in the sand that I thought was going to give way, and it hasn't, and we've held on. And that is incredibly bullish. I'm not bullish enough. I wasn't bullish enough in September to say we're going to hold this line, because we came down from 30,000. I'm not bullish enough to say that we were going to hold that, and we did. I did think we were going to drop a lot lower to get all that liquidity to then push us up. As it stands, $32,000, $30,000 Bitcoin by December is on the cards, and for me that's massively bullish. Forget people talking about 60,000 and 100,000 by December. It's not going to happen. We are not going to get the ETFs, which would be the trigger for that. It's just not going to happen. So Raoul Pal, who he's one of those people, I don't know how to explain him. He's like Marmite. Now, for those of you out there that know what Marmite is, you'll understand what I'm saying. A lot of what he says is, how do I say this without sounding mean? A lot of what he says is self-promotion, but a lot of what he says makes sense. He is an incredibly clever man, and I like nothing more than watching people who know a hell of a lot more about stuff than I do. That's what I try and spend my time doing, whether it be Raoul Pal talking about economics, whether it be other people talking about philosophy. It's always good to challenge yourself, listen to other people's opinions. Don't fall into this woke left and right nonsense. Try and hear both sides of the story and have your own opinion in life. And he is incredibly knowledgeable about everything to do with the economy. So he believes that the macro factors are going to spark the next crypto bull run, and I agree. I've said this before, there's like 3 things you need to look at. When you look at crypto, there's 3 things you need to look at. Number 1, every token you look at, you need to look at it and compare it to what Bitcoin is doing. That's number 1. Number 2, you need to look at any up and coming features for any projects in crypto that will detach itself from Bitcoin. For example, Ethereum switching to proof of stake from proof of work. is something that's completely outside of every other kind of external pressure, because it creates something new. And the third thing is macro environmental factors. Conflicts, such as what we're seeing right now, potential conflicts, potential epidemics, potential recessions, interest rate rises or falls, liquidity problems, inflation, that affects everything. So you have a funnel, and the biggest part of the funnel is the macro environmental. Then you have what's happening with Bitcoin, then what's happening with that individual coin, and everything has to be taken into account for you to make a decision. You could be the greatest technical analyst in the world, but if you don't look at what's happening in the world around you, you are only ever going to be limited to the patterns on your chart. And those patterns on your chart can be affected at the drop of a hat by somebody passing away, somebody being in conflict. Anything like that can affect the markets, and you have to take everything into account. He is convinced that despite the hype surrounding the halving, macro factors will play the leading role. According to Pal, the Bitcoin halving cycle coincides with the macro cycle. Absolutely, this time it absolutely does. Which means which means every halving so far has taken place in a similar macro environmental, monetary expansion and low interest rates. Macro is actually the dominant factor, and the halving is a false narrative. I don't agree with that. But it doesn't matter because it still works. The reason that this is wrong is the halving is not a false narrative. The halving is a statistical, factual event that happens that causes the supply of Bitcoin into the market to halve. So for every 100,000 Bitcoin that are being produced today, there will only be 50,000 Bitcoin produced by May, June, July next year. That causes a supply shock. Don't forget, we're running out of Bitcoin on exchanges. What happens when we halve the number of Bitcoin being produced? It will take time. It might take 6 to 12 months, but that's what happens with the halving. You normally see the all-time high 18 months after the halving. So this is not a false narrative. That's where we disagree. However, I do agree that other external forces will flood markets with money, and that will help fill the sales of Bitcoin. So with that, I agree. So interest rates being cut, that's definitely on the cards. We know about that. The stimulus is on the cards because of the presidential election. I completely agree with that. I also think there's going to be an end to the conflict. What difference will that make? It will reduce the price of gas. It will reduce the price of oil, which will bring transport costs down. But more importantly, and one thing that people are unaware of, is that one country, which is currently being occupied, produces 90% of Europe's fertilizer, which has gone through the roof. So once the conflict is over, that fertilizer cost will come down, and all products that are grown, those will start to come down as well. So there are huge things that could happen to affect the price of Bitcoin. So I agree. Price targets, Pal wants to avoid making predictions given that you can get beat over the head by people for not getting them right. Still, looking at past performance, Bitcoin could double or triple its latest all-time highs. I don't think we're going to go that high. I think 120,000, 100,000, for me 105,000, because I think we're going to struggle to get over 100,000. He seems to think we could hit 180 to 200,000. If we do, I'll be dancing in the streets, but I'm not holding my breath because I'll be blue in the face. Now, last bit of news before we get onto the Doge statue, which is more of an and finally than an actual bit of news. Let me update the menu. There we go. Remember, drop a comment into chat. Let me know who you are, where you are from. Let me know what you're going to be doing this weekend. Do you have any plans? Are you going to be trading Bitcoin? If so, where do you think the price is going to go? Anything you want to say? There are loads of comments in chat, but I am not going to read most of them out because most of them are not applicable. Also, something I've not mentioned, make sure to smash the like button Make sure to follow us and don't unfollow us after the stream so you get the extra rewards. Make sure you follow us. They are the number one things you can do to help us. We don't ask for tips, but we do receive them. Feel free to tip us, whichever platform you're on. We accept those tips. That helps to keep the channel afloat. We are actually getting some new equipment which will be arriving next week, which should solve some of the audio problems that we have when Hollywood and myself stream. So that should arrive next week, and that's just another step towards making the channel just that bit more professional. Now let me move on to talk about Ledger. And again, this isn't a huge piece of news, and I always bring these up because I want to point something out. So we'll get through the news and I'll explain why this isn't a big issue. So the Ledger has cut 12% of its staff, citing macro economic headwinds limiting the company's ability to drive revenue as a reason for the cuts. Ledger, the crypto hardware wallet maker, is laying off 12% of staff, according to announcement from the company's CEO, Pascal Gauthier. Now, don't forget they're based in France. And if you know anything, the Brits and the French have a very friendly rivalry that goes on. And we always accuse them of striking at the drop of a hat, and they always accuse us of drinking at the drop of a hat. So we have a friendly rivalry. In response to the current market conditions and business realities, we must reduce roles across the global business. They have 734 employees. Do they really need 734 employees for what they do? I don't think they do. The cuts come just months after Ledger announced it had raised most of a $109 million funding round at a valuation of $1.4 million. Job losses have become the norm across crypto industry during the bear market. Early this week, blockchain analytics firm Chainalysis laid off 15% of its staff. Why isn't this big news, and why isn't this anything to worry about? Number one, it is a new industry. What happens in a new industry? You have no idea of the staffing levels that you need. You have no idea of the roles that you need. 1 week you can be working on one area of the company, the next that has to change direction to fit in with how the market is moving. Crypto is a new industry. It's not even 10 years old. I know Bitcoin is 14 years old. The industry isn't 14 years old. It's 8, 9, 10 years old. There's a certain big exchange. It's just had its 6th birthday this year. We're new. They're going to overemploy people in the wrong areas, the wrong departments. They're going to employ too many customer service staff, too many marketing, too many production. It's all about trying to hone their business into a profitable enterprise to allow them to take the next step. So you will see job cuts. You will also see in 2 years' time they will start to employ another 20% of their staff. What makes me laugh is the way that these periodicals, these news outlets, they try and create this narrative that crypto is in this bear market and everything's out of control and everybody has to be sacked, everything's going out of business. But in a bull run, everything's roses and flowers and smells beautiful, and that's not the case. These companies are there to make a profit. They will take on staff thinking they need those staff, realise the workload isn't there for them to be employed, and get rid of them. It's just how it works. Do I honestly think that Ledger need 800 staff? Certainly not. Well, look at what Elon Musk has done with Twitter. He went in there and sacked 2/3 of the staff, and now the company runs better than it did before. It's more engaging than it was before, and he's let go of 66% of his staff. Companies can become bloated, and this is just one way for them to trim the fat that is not needed in their business. So if anything, this is a good thing. You will also see in the stock market, if you see a big company lays off 10,000 staff, you'll see that the stock price goes up. The reason being is that's 10,000 wages that are not being paid. So you work out 10,000 wages times $30,000 a year. That's a lot of money that's being saved. So don't read these headlines and think that Ledger is going to go out of business. It's not the way it works. Crypto exchanges lay off staff all the time, but because of where we are in the market. People still think we're in the bear market. That's why you see these headlines and everyone gasps, Ledger's going out of business. It certainly isn't. And finally, we've run late again. We always seem to run late on a Friday because I'm in absolutely no rush whatsoever. So let me just update the menu. And we will talk about this. I actually like this idea. I think this is a good idea. Dogecoin NFT community to honour Shiba Inu dog with commemorative statue in Japan. Now this is nice. Good morning, Web3 superstar. Thank you for joining us. Nice to see you on this beautiful day. Let's try and make it a little bit bigger so people can read it. The Dogecoin neighborhood is funding the development of a bronze statue in Japan depicting Kabosu, the Shiba Inu canine related to the notorious Doge web meme. Per a press release from the Dogecoin basis Kabosu followers, I'm not going to be able to get through this without falling over every word, crowdfunding in early November 2022 to fund the statue's building and had already reached the aim of $42,000 inside 72 hours. Nonetheless, FTX implosion and the crypto market crash put these plans to a short-lived halt, bringing the fundraiser again beneath its donation goal. Nonetheless, the statue is now ready for unveiling on November the 2nd, Kabosu's 18th birthday. How amazing is that? It's going to be positioned in Socorro Fusako Square, the place the canine's mother or father typically takes it for walks. This is beautiful. We have been working for over 2 years, bringing Doge to locations she's by no means been, together with Hollywood, EDM bangers and house. Our aim is to change into the Doge gathering place online for the entire Doge and meme neighborhood, added Tridog. The group even desires to position a statue of Kabosu on the moon at some point. Well, do you know what? Fair play. And when it's unveiled on November the 2nd, we will make sure to cover that on this channel, because anything that's real world like this, I like to include, especially, I mean, I don't know if you are aware, but there are various different NFT themed takeaways and restaurants dotted around the world. I think there's one in San Francisco, there's one in Japan. So it's nice that we have this crossover from crypto into the real world. It's nice to see, and this is just a nice little article. I can't wait to see the statue. I don't know if we're going to be able to see a picture of it anywhere. They have a picture of the statue, or are we going to have to wait? We're probably going to have to wait until November the 2nd. Well, that is it. We will now crack on with the quiz. We've gone 3 minutes over. I don't think that's too bad for a Friday. So let me just get everything up and running. So while I am preparing the quiz, don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to smash the like button. We're at 12,500 likes. It would be great to get to 15,000 by the end of the stream. So don't forget to smash the like button, and we will begin the quiz. So for those of you that are new here, we ask some very simple crypto questions. We're not here to catch you out. All you have to do is answer them in chat. We will give you a shout out, or on certain platforms you might win a little bit of crypto. The crypto is never going to make you rich, so don't expect it to. It's just a little token of our appreciation for you coming to the stream. So we will start with a simple question. You will have 60 seconds to answer. I'll give you 60 seconds. I've got a little timer here in front of me. You have 60 seconds to answer the question, and we will read out some of the nicer names of those who win. Okay. 1 second. Every time I type in the answer, it automatically changes the case, which makes it impossible for you to guess. Okay, very simple question. Dogecoin. Is Dogecoin a meme or a DeFi coin? All you have to do is type meme or DeFi into chat and I'll give you a shout out. Is Dogecoin a meme or is it a DeFi coin? That is all you have to put. Congratulations to Hidden Agendas. That is correct. Well done. Bora Boy, thank you for joining us, as well as Visitor 5527. Make sure you join in. Make sure you type in meme or DeFi. The question is Dogecoin a meme or a DeFi coin? Just type one of those two into chat and we'll let you know if you've won. You've got about 10 seconds left and I will give you the answer. Remember, you only have to type meme or DeFi. If you type anything else, you're not going to win. Okay, so the answer is, of course, Dogecoin is a meme coin. Let's see who got that right. Mesbar, congratulations. Digital Coins, well done. Anonymous, Rajesh, Eagle Wings, Jace, Kishan, Tariq won big today. That's nice to see. Rick and Churrascada, well done. You are all correct. A few more people got it right than I've read out. So, next question. Some of the autocorrects in here are terrible. Somebody's put definitely coin. Yeah, it wasn't a DeFi coin. It was a meme. There's lots of people getting that right in chat. Next question. Now, just bear with me. It takes a little bit of time to type in the question. Remember, this is supposed to be for education, no other reason, and it's also to relax at the end of the show. I wish it would just stop changing my answers. Okay, Fetch. We covered Fetch today on the stream. Is Fetch an AI or a DeFi token? Is Fetch an AI or a DeFi token? All you have to do is type AI or DeFi into chat and you will win. And I will read out your name if you got it right. So, Fetch, is it an AI token? Or is it a DeFi token? Hidden Agendas, that is correct. Congratulations on winning. Let me just restart my app because it is not working again. Is Fetch an AI or a DeFi token? Just type in AI or DeFi. Do not type in the word token. Do not put it in uppercase in certain places because you will not win. Plenty more people are getting this right now than they were. 41, 42, about 43 correct answers across the board. Congratulations to all of you. It is, of course, an AI token. I was talking about it at the start of the show. If you look on the menu, you will see it was the fourth item down, Fetch Review. We went through that, I reviewed it, I explained what it was, gave you some price predictions, and it's an AI token. 44 of you have got that right, including... No, sorry, 44. 47 people got that right. Eagle Wings again, Camber, Danny, Big Boss, IP Man, Kishan, Tariq, Pcoin, Lifehacker, Rick Prototype. Well done. That is a large number of people who got that right. Sergio, I don't know why you didn't. The only thing I can think is that you didn't type it correctly. Let me scroll up and have a look for you. I can't see. I can't see what you put in answer to the question, so I can't see why you didn't win. But if you didn't type AI in lowercase, then you wouldn't have won. If you typed it in uppercase, if you put a capital A, you wouldn't have won. Next question. This is a true or false question. Again, we covered this today on the show, so if you've been paying attention, like good viewers, then you'll know the answer. Bitcoin dominance at this moment in time. Bitcoin dominance is 60%. Is that true or false? Is Bitcoin dominance at this moment in time 60%? Is that true or false? All you have to do is type true or false into chat and you will be a winner. There are loads of people guessing this answer and most are getting it wrong. In fact, I don't want to point this out to you, but let's just say that it might actually be on the screen in front of you. So not anywhere near as many people got that one right. Bitcoin dominance is not 60% right now. Bitcoin dominance is just under 50%, or even 50.1% if you look at the other chart that we looked at. Bitcoin dominance is not 60%. It's not even 60% if you look at it without stable coins. It's still only 56%. So those of you that put false are correct, and they include Animhat, welcome back, Jace, Rahman, Tariq, Danny, Orphans. I think Hidden Agenda's got that right over there. Fizzat, congratulations, IP Man, Munaya, and Rick Prototype. Congratulations, you all won. And if you typed in true, you didn't win because it's not the right answer. As you can see on the screen, I have highlighted it. It's currently 49.6% according to CoinMarketCap. Although we are pushing up towards 27,800 again. We just seem to be bouncing around at the minute. Sergio, the other thing to bear in mind is you might be in a location where you're not allowed to have a box. Not all boxes are available in all countries. So depending on where you are, I know there are countries that do not allow the crypto to be given to you. I know that for a fact because we've had other people in here. I think Sri Lanka might be one of them, or Nepal. You're not allowed crypto if you live there. The best thing to do is to find out off your exchange. I don't know whether they are. They're just quiz questions. I just ask a question. It just says create new crypto box. That's all it says to me. Okay, next question. So we've had some questions about the show today. Most of you have done very well. Some of you have failed miserably. That's to be expected. But if you follow us wherever you're watching from, we will make sure that we give you all the education you need so you are ready for the next bull run. So you will help us out and yourself out by giving Crypto Warehouse a follow on whichever platform you are watching on. Next question. Okay, next question. The total supply of Bitcoin is 21 million Bitcoins, or 21 million Bitcoin, whichever one you prefer. Is that true or false? There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. Is that true or false? Kishan, thank you. All you have to do is put true or false into chat and you will be a winner. In fact, you know what I need to do? We've not done this in ages. I need to write a quiz of the week. We used to have a quiz of the week on the show, and we used to have a quiz where it was a founders quiz where we'd ask you to name various different founders of different projects, and we stopped. So we need to do that again. I think we need to do a founders quiz or a token quiz, or a market cap quiz or something like that. So Bitcoin's total supply is 21 million. Is that true or false? It is in fact true. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, and for the record, at least 1 million of them are gone forever because they were in Satoshi's wallet, so they will never see the light of day. So there's technically only 20 million Bitcoin left. Congratulations to Love, Johnny, Honeypot, Crypto Mafia, welcome back. Who else is here? Gaston, Munaya, plenty of people to read out. Right, I'm going to ask one more question because I'm hungry. It's 2 o'clock. I haven't eaten yet, and I need to go and eat. Right, so the last question, one of my favourite questions because it's so easy for you to answer, you only have to enter one thing, is this one. Okay, the question is, what is CZ's number for FUD? So on Twitter, you go onto Twitter, you'll see CZ there. He's always holding up his hand, and he's always holding up a number of fingers to represent FUD. Fear, uncertainty and doubt is what FUD means. What number of fingers does he hold up, and what is his number for FUD? It is the easiest question to finish on. I'm expecting 50 correct answers at least on that question. All you have to do is enter the number that CZ holds up to depict FUD. What is that number? You have 18 seconds left. My timer is running down. 2 seconds, 1 second left. About 58 correct answers. Well done. Answer is 4. He holds up 4 fingers for FUD. Vilari, Kishan, Honeypot, Crypto Mafia, Toti, Sergio. Sergio, you won, I can see. but the RNG monkey got you. You won less than anybody else. I can't believe that. Ghost, Shib, Tariq. See, I think, Tariq, that Sergio's taken over your role today of being the one that is hard done by. Who else? Ban, Keruba Adil, congratulations, IP man. Alex, Joseph, Munaya, thank you. You are all correct. You're welcome. Right, what I'm going to do now. Yeah, this time it works, and unfortunately it didn't let you win anything. It's ridiculous. So, a little bit of housekeeping before I let you all go. We are live tomorrow, Central European time. The time will be 10:30 a.m. Not 11 a.m. that we normally do on a Saturday. We're going to do it half an hour earlier because the last few Saturdays we've had to run off, and it's not as much fun when we cut the quiz short. So we like to do, so today we've done, what, 20 minutes? 20 minutes of a quiz? Something like that. So we like to do the quiz at the end. So tomorrow we're going to start half an hour earlier. So make sure to check back later on to, I don't know what it is, set a reminder, I suppose you would say. Set a reminder for our show. If you haven't done so already, please give us a follow. If we're going to ever get anywhere in this life, we're going to need your support. And the people that come back every single day, the regulars like Tariq, like Munaya, like Adil, like Marlene, like Fake Tech, who I think is ill, so he hasn't been able to come on recently. Thank you to all of you for coming on. We will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to drop a box now in a certain place, and for the rest of you, I hope you have a great Friday. If you can't make it tomorrow or Sunday, make sure you check us out on Monday. We'd love to have you. Feel free to ask any questions. Our contact details are under the stream, so if you want to find us on Telegram, on Discord, on Twitter, wherever else you want to find us, we're also on the most famous streaming platform in the world. Just go there, type in Crypto Warehouse, and you will find us. Until then, have a great Friday, and I'll see you all in the morning.